You must be above 8,000 feet or you will die. Here's my review of Elevation. Aliens have taken over the planet and wiped out 95% of the population. Will, played by Anthony Mackie, lives on a camp settlement high in the mountains with his son. It's not explained very well, but I think if you stay above 8,000 feet in the mountains, the aliens can't breathe, I guess, and then they can't attack you, and then you can survive. The people living in this camp settlement have enough supplies to live forever. They have enough, but Will's son has a medical condition, and Will is running out of medicine to keep his son alive. Will maps out a path to a small village on the surface. In this village is a hospital which has the medicine that he needs to keep his son alive. Joining Will on this mission is Nina, played by Morena Baccarin, and Katie, played by Maddie Hasson. We don't get much of a backstory on Katie, but Nina used to be a scientist and she studied these aliens for a few years. Nina joins Will's mission because the science laboratory that she used to work at is very near the hospital where the medicine is. So she joins Will on his mission so she can get some supplies to finally fight back against these aliens. Elevation is directed by George Nolfi, who has directed films such as The Adjustment Bureau, Birth of the Dragon, and The Banker. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail about who survives in this film and who dies and how the film ends. I'll let you enjoy the film for what it is, but I just had to call this a mild spoiler review because I have to go into detail about the plot a little bit, just so I can tell you why I didn't like the film. This is the second film that I've seen this year after Arcadian with Nicolas Cage, where it's clearly inspired by the film A Quiet Place. We have a similar plot where aliens have taken over a planet, and we're a few years into the story where we've learned the weaknesses and the strengths of these aliens, and the humans have adapted to their environments. But this film is definitely the weakest of the three. This film just doesn't have the budget to match its ambitions. There are several set pieces, about 5 or 6, where Nina, Katie, and Will are either running away or fighting back against the aliens. And the scenes that are set outside, the special effects and the blue screens are very poor. You can clearly see the actors sitting on the soundstage or with the blue screen behind them, and the CGI of the aliens is quite bad. And it was very hard to get invested in these scenes because the special effects were quite bad. But there are 2 scenes set. One scene is set in a cave tunnel where they're trying to get from one side of the mountain to the other, so they go through these cave mountains. And there's another scene set in the hospital. Both of these scenes are quite dark, and the special effects are a little bit better. You don't really notice the blue screens and the CGI so much, and they seem to use a lot more special practical effects in these scenes, so they're much more effective. But Will, Nina, and Katie, they have a history together. Their characters have a history together, and they're constantly fighting, and it's not very pleasant to sit through. We get a short scene, maybe like a 5-minute scene or 10-minute scene involving the aliens, and then after that it's 20 minutes of Nina, Will, and Katie fighting, and about the past or about now, and then we get another scene involving the aliens, and then another 20-minute scene of them fighting. Yeah, it's just not very pleasant. The film does a good job of character development and explaining to us why they are behaving this way and why they feel this way. I understand the situation they're in, and I understand they've lost loved ones and why they're this way, but I just it's just not very pleasant to sit through, and not very enjoyable characters to get engaged with. All of the actors do a fine job, I guess, but Anthony Mackie, he just doesn't really have the screen presence for a lead role. He can't really carry the film on his own, and he's really more suited for supporting roles, I think. The aliens are not really given much screen time, or they're not really given much backstory or much detail about how they work. Uh, they look like a cross between like a lion, a dinosaur, and the xenomorph aliens from the Alien films. On the positive side, I can clearly see what the director was going for here. The film does have some ambition, but it does sometimes feel like a calling card for, hey, this is what I can do, but if you give me more money for a sequel, I can do better. I like the ambition and the staging of the action scenes. Probably the highlight of the film is there's a scene set on a ski lift where they have to use the different heights and elevation to evade the aliens. But unfortunately, this scene is destroyed really by the very obvious blue screens and shoddy CGI. The film does a very good job of using the 8,000 feet gimmick of putting the characters in danger. So if you're above or below, you're safe or not safe, and the film does a great job of it. And this gimmick adds tension to the film. I give Elevation 2 stars out of 5. The poor CGI, special effects, the unpleasant characters, and it's not a very original story. And the budget just doesn't have, it kind of doesn't match the ambition of the film, so I cannot really recommend Elevation. Thanks for watching. Did you see Elevation? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.